This is Danny Flexant here for SecondsOut. I'd like to be joined by Unbeaten Katie Healy. Katie, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Danny. How are you?
I'm good. You're there at work. No one would guess what's on the horizon, but in less than 2 weks, I think it is now. Or
just under 3. Fly out in just under 2, so not long.
You'll be challenging for the WBF Super Bantamweight title against. Now, you'll have to forgive me because I'm not at all confident I'm going to say your opponent's name correctly. So I've got it queued up on BoxRec. Makabisi.
There you go.
Now on referred to just as Makabisi, not disrespectfully, but because I don't want to be disrespectful and get her name wrong. But yeah, 4-0.
Yeah.
Not been past 6 rounds yet as a pro, still just 24 years old. How have you nailed a shot at, I mean, it's not one of the big 4 belts, but it is a WBF belt. It is against a winning fighter out in South Africa.
It was an opportunity that come up out of the blue. I'll be totally honest. I received the phone call from Gav, my coach, and it was one of those things that we just couldn't turn down. And I know a lot of people have questioned, you're only 4 fights in, like you say, you haven't got past those 6 rounds. But I've just got a very good team behind me, and my promoters have been working really hard in the background. And like I say, when the opportunity comes up like this, you can't turn something like this down. So we've been training hard, and even though in the boxing I haven't gone past the 6 rounds, I have got that experience from when I did the kickboxing. So I've done more than 6 rounds back then. It was very intense, just like boxing. Different sport, obviously there is that argument there, but I've also gone overseas as well, so I'm no stranger to the longer rounds. I'm no stranger to fighting on a different ground, so it just felt right. That's the only way I can describe it. And don't get me wrong, I won't jump at an opportunity if I think it's silly, and we were all confident with our decision, and I just had a good feeling about this one.
Why did they pick you? Because as you said, it came out of nowhere. Presumably they approached your team. Why you?
Yeah. Good question. And I guess that's one for my promoters, really. But it's one where, like I say, for me, I trust my team in the background, and I trust the work that they're doing. Don't really ask too many questions, to be honest. I kind of, quite selfishly, I focus on the training aspect of things, and I focus on me. If I start getting too involved in things like that, it can mess with your head, and boxing is a big sport mentally. So like I say, I've got my promoters, I've got my management, I've got Gav, I've got my strength and conditioning coaches, and they all do their own little work in the background to help me. So yeah, I guess that's a good question for someone else.
Now, apart from how to correctly pronounce her Christian name, what can you tell us about Makabisi?
I haven't watched much of her, I'll be honest, and it's something I've never done. I don't really analyse my opponent before I go into a fight. I don't sit down and watch their fights over and over again to figure out what they do. It's always something I've kind of gave the responsibility to Gav to do for me. Once again, it's that mental side for me. It's something that's always worked, where I've kind of gone to Gav, can you kind of tell me what I need to do? I'll learn whatever you want me to do. Tell me what the game plan is. And I also think they can change as well, and every fighter fights someone else differently. I could fight her very different to all of her past opponents, so she could look like a completely different fighter. So I go in there with a strong game plan behind me. We've got different variations, and I always say to myself, a big part of boxing is adapting. You have to adapt to whoever's in front of you. So if I can't do that within the first round, then that's my fault, and I'll take ownership of that. But I've watched a small snippet of her, just very, very small. And obviously I've been listening to Gavin, and she's up for it. She's a very good opponent. I know it's not going to be easy, and I never go into a fight underestimating anyone. So I'm just going to go there, do what I can do, believe in myself, and go from there.
How confident are you that you can do the 10 rounds at a good pace? I'm sure you've done it in the gym, but how confident are you can do it under the lights in South Africa?
I'm extremely confident this time round. My training has been so different. Like, it's gone to another level. That's the only way I can describe it. For example, when I've been doing my strength and conditioning at the gym I go to in Bilston, the Iron Masters gym, I've been saying to Sam, my coach, like, I'm doing the sprints, and when I was doing them for my other fights, I'm finding them so much easier now, and we're having to actually add on sets onto it and make it more intense. And I think it's linked to the fact that I've been doing altitude training as well for this fight. It's a completely different climate, and it's just taken me to that next level. So 10 rounds, it's not something I'm afraid of. I feel like I've definitely got the endurance for that. But yeah, we don't see till we're on the day. The adrenaline, it can have a big effect, but I think my experience will come into that from doing martial arts for such a long time and competing in it for such a long time now.
You've got people in and around your weight, the likes of Ellie Scotney, Ebony Bridges, people with high profiles on big TV broadcasters. Is this the fight, assuming you win, that will kind of, elevate you to that sort of level, maybe see you more on the mainstream channels?
I hope so. I do really hope so. I think it'll be a very, very good fight to prove that I can be at that level. And that's what I want to do now. I've done 4-0, like we said at the start. I've got that door open now. I've experienced the boxing environment. But yeah, I really want to push it now. We saw that women's boxing grows a lot faster. It's a much faster pace than men's. People progress a lot quicker. So yeah, I think this is the fight now where I'll go in there and I'll prove to people that I can be up there with likes of those names.
And what's your view on the WBF belt in general? Obviously, you're not going to be keen to say anything too negative with the judges and the officials in charge, but compared to kind of the so-called Big Four world title belts, how do you view it?
I view them all the same. I think a world title is a world title. And to be honest, a fight is a fight to me. I don't kind of let this whole title thing take over me. I prepare for every fight like it's a fight at the end of the day. I'm going in there, no matter who's in front of me, no matter what it's for. I'm fighting, I'm going in there, I'm training the hardest I can train. So for me, it's absolutely amazing, this opportunity, no matter what belt it is. I'm going to South Africa for it. Like, just saying that alone, it blows me away, and I don't think it's actually sunk in. So no, like, I don't have anything negative to say about it. It's all positive from my side, and I'm just so grateful for the experience.
How's it been in camp this time around, balancing things with your job as well? Because you said previously it wasn't that bad. So have you had any more time off than usual?
No, I haven't. I've still been working full time, and it's tough, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Working full time and training for a world title fight, 10-rounder, it's not easy. But I'm putting the work in, and I've kind of always been used to it. I've always been a busy bee. I'm not one to really sit down for too long. But no, it's early morning get-ups. It's getting the training in. It's getting those 3 sessions in wherever I can each and every day. But it never gets any easier. If anything, it's always going to get tougher.
Break down like a typical day for us during this camp.
Typical day, I would say, it depends if I'm working from home or in the office. But if I am in the office like today, I get up first thing, 5 o'clock in the morning. I either get that road running or I get in a workout at home, just depending on what my schedule is like for the day, whether I'm sparring and things. Then I get up, get ready for work, come into the office about 7:30 in the morning, leave about 4:30 usually. So I get my day in at work, and then I go straight to the gym, whether that be at my strength and conditioning session or whether it be at Trojan where I do my boxing. And then I won't get home until 9. That's my usual day. So I have to plan my meals very carefully as well, because obviously I'm out from home all day pretty much. So I have to make sure I'm fueling myself up properly at the same time, and also getting that sleep in as well. So the second I'm home, I'm in the shower or I'm in the bath, and then I'm pretty much watching Love Island, and then I'm in bed.
At least you're getting to watch Love Island,
Exactly. I've got to make sure that's in, don't worry. All of our conversations at work revolved around that at the minute.
It just sounds like exhausting just listening to it.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so important. Like, I'm no one to lie on social media. Like, I'm a right foodie. I love to have a good break after a fight, but I think it's so important. And you do hear that saying, it's kind of that eat, train, sleep, repeat. And it is that in a fight camp. But then straight after that fight's over, you kind of just resume to like a normal human being and you have a normal life. And I love to go out and have a nice meal and to have a nice glass of gin here and there. And that's what's good for me, to have that nice break. And it does my body good. And I've learned that over the years as I've got older, that your body will tell you when you need to have a rest day, and it will tell you when you need to have a few weeks off. And I think that's equally as important as this manic fight camp at the same time.
With you working in HR, is it ever a concern that you're going to kind of pick up a black eye or a cut or something in sparring and have to come in looking like you've been bashed up?
Do you know what? They absolutely love it, because they're like, we love having you in the HR team, because if we're in a disciplinary, then we're sorted. But no, it's never been an issue. The only time it was an issue was my last fight when I had my graduation 3 days after. It's very rare I get black eyes, but trust it to happen. I got a little shiner on my eye, so I just matched it up my eyeshadow, the perks of being a woman.
Fair enough. I'll have to pass that on to some of your male counterparts and see if they fancy giving it a go.
There you go.
Before I let you go, and obviously the focus is mostly on you for this, but did want to ask, we're getting a lot of questions on social media over the last 6 months to a year now about Rachel Ball, who you share a camp with. And just generally people wishing her well and hoping she's okay, because we haven't seen her on the scene for a long time and she hasn't really been doing much on socials. So just for those people, how's she doing?
Rachel is doing very, very well. I don't think it's any secret she's had a little bit of a break from boxing, especially with everything that was going on. Obviously, she caught COVID, she got injuries, but no, she's doing really, really good. I think she's enjoying having that little break at the moment and keeping her life on the private side, because it went manic for her as well, especially when she had those big fights over the COVID period. But yeah, she's doing really, really well.
Glad to hear it. And just before I let you go, we know what this fight can do for your boxing career, but should you win and you go up a level in terms of boxing, what can it do for your life outside the gym? Will that change your life in any way?
I haven't really thought too much about it, to be honest. I kind of just take each day as it comes. But if I do have to look at the big picture, it will change a lot of stuff. And I've kind of said I love having that balance of being able to work still and do the boxing. I've never really thought about doing boxing full time. I'll be honest. I like to have that security in the background of having a job. But yeah, I think that's one I'll kind of have to look at if the opportunity arises.
Good stuff. All right, well, really, really appreciate your time. Very best of luck.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, hopefully next time we do it, you'll have a new belt over your shoulder.
Fingers crossed. I'm going to go over there and do my best anyway, and that's all we can do at the end of the day.
Do you know if people will be able to watch it over here?
Yeah, they have advised that it's because it's an international contest. There's people from all over coming over to South Africa, and they have said that they'll provide some sort of link to the UK. So as soon as I know what that link is, I'll be sharing that on all of my socials like Instagram, Twitter, letting people know the best way that I can.
And remind people what your social handles are on that note.
Yeah, no, it's exactly the same on Instagram and Twitter. It's just my name, Katie Healy, with 2 kisses on the end. And then on Facebook, it's just Katie Healy and Pro Boxer.
Perfect. All right. Well, yeah, very best of luck. And we look forward to watching it.